Everybody wave. Everybody wave. Everybody smiling, happy.
I'm Kristen Price, and I am going to go over the obtaining process for mega aircraft braking systems in Akron. We had noticed that there was a problem with some slow lead time in bill payment, and ended up seeing some backlash on some other departments because of that. First, I started out with the outline the questions and using the problem statement, which was poor communication between the financial shared services and some of our other nugget sites. They had decided to implement a department that was just handling all the financials for many of our different sites. So this can cause some communication issues when they're spending more time getting some other things done for other locations and not on our Akron location, which, as I said, leads to longer lead times in the bill payment and payment of our bills. Some of the decision makers that needed to be involved in this were the group project leaders, the managers at each site, and also director of U.S. operations. Since we have Megget PLC, which is over all of us, they would need to be involved also to see if maybe there was an issue with that department. Like I said, while working through the problem statement, we noticed that there was a communication issue. The lack of communication, like I said, is causing slow lead times for bill payments. Next, I moved on to the issue tree, and this, the issue tree shows that we needed to look a little bit further into is enough information being sent to the shared services department so that they are able to process these invoices, and also who is sending this out and who is receiving it. There could be issues where the correct PO number might not be on the invoice, so therefore they're going back to the person who created it and trying to get that information, which takes a little more time. Some of the other questions we looked at was deciding who decides what gets sent out when, and if some things have a longer due date. Do they hold us back? Do they send those? And how that process is taken care of. Next, I moved on to the hypothesis tree. Here we were able to see that some of the problems with the bill payment procedure could be that there might be too many steps or not enough steps. Maybe it's also being handled by too many people, or again, not enough people are involved in this process. Also, the big problem was lack of communication between Finance Shared Services and some of the employees who are handling the ordering and the invoices and POs and things like that. Some of the things that also were looked at is if the bill payment procedure was rewritten in a more efficient way, it would be a lot easier to follow. If there was one person who was in charge of the bill payment, then they would be able to track if it's been sent out, if it's not been sent out, if it's out, if it's being held for a certain reason. And also, like I said, better communication between everyone as a whole would help that a lot. Where are they missing the boat on this communication problem? Is it within just the Financial Shared Services Department, or is it outside of that and going into the different sites and maybe they're not transferring the information correctly? Are the managers in that department doing what they need to do to make sure that this problem is being taken care of and that things are getting handled? Is there maybe an issue where shared services is being told to hold certain checks, let certain checks go out, issues like that that other employees may not be aware of? Some of the solutions that I found that could help better this would be to retrain the current staff, make sure that they know exactly what the process is and how things should be going. Better training for new hires. There's been a high turnover rate in that department, and a lot of it is due to they don't know what they're doing and they get frustrated because their training has not been great. Also to implement a new process for the bill payment to make sure that there's a way to track these things. Again, and add a computer program that could possibly track them. After going through these, I had found that the best solutions without costing a lot of money for the company would be a better training program. Train the new staff, train current staff, and just be sure that everyone is on the same page when it comes to the process and how things are supposed to go. My action plan, the solution, like I said, for this company's problem is for training. There needs to be more training involved with the Shared Services Department and also the other Megget sites that are involved. In order to put this action into play, we have step one, which is to present the solution to decision makers. Next, it would be to create some training material, and that would involve some of the senior employees, shared services management, being sure that the correct information is in these training materials. And then to implement the training, which would be help with the HR department in securing a conference room and getting all the materials together and putting that time in. Then I would recommend that it be revised if needed, and go back and reevaluate the issue and check and make sure that it's working or if it's not working. With the contingency plan, I've seen that a potential issue would be that the staff didn't have enough training on their own. So there may need to be added training for the people that will eventually end up training new hires. Also, what would be included in the training? Is there enough information that they could use a training, or maybe it's just that the new hires aren't really learning as quickly, or something like that. Or also, is this something that management would agree is necessary? They may or may not see this as something that's high up in their priorities of being taken care of. And in conclusion, I found that the training is a great option for the company. Some of the staff was very unsure about the procedures and what needs to be taken care of. And I think if they had the correct training, that they would be able to do their jobs more effectively. And I also suggest that the company hold these trainings every few months for the current staff, just to refresh what they already know, and once a month for any new hires. As I said, they have a higher turnover rate, so there's constantly new people. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Did your HR department do any kind of exit interviews for the people who were leaving?
This is where it's kind of tricky, because our HR department at our Akron location really has nothing to do with that shared services department. They're just located in our building. So it's kind of confusing. They've done the same thing with our IT and also with other human resources. Their shared services has their own human resources. So their human resources is mainly out of California, so they have to. So there's not much we can do. It's affecting us more than anybody else, I think, but there's not much that our management and our HR department can do to help it. So kind of a higher up kind of issue.